Southern State of Golf podcast. We are episode 5 now. Starting to feel old. 5. It just seemed like the other day it was just 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're on the 5. Hi, my name is John, and I'm here to we're going to talk about all things Southern golf related. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Tim Newman. Tim is with the Golf Week Amateur Tour. Tim, how are you doing today?
Doing great, John. Thank you so much for inviting me to be able to share with your Southern State of Golf community. I think it's awesome. When I reached out to you, I found your podcast as I was doing some research for our podcast, and I think what you're doing is great. I love it.
Well, thank you for reaching out to me, and I'm glad you kind of teed that up because I want people to reach out to me. We'd love to have people that are interested in golf, and especially with a Southern perspective or Southern flavor to it. Anybody can reach out to us anytime on our social media channels, which we're active on X and Instagram at SS of Golf. And people can also email me at southernstateofgolf@gmail.com. I'd love to get it. Tell us a little bit about your journey in golf.
Oh, man.
Where did golf mean to you? Where did it get started?
So, John, I'm not sure about you, but like most people, I got started playing golf because of my father, my dad. And we did it when we were young and played with my grandfather. I've got 3 brothers, and we would always go, not always, but periodically. And then it kind of dropped off. And then as we got older, we started playing together again. And when I got married second time, I knew if I wanted to keep playing golf, she had to play golf. So my wife she's 4'5", 4'6". So I bought her a set of junior clubs. We eloped and we went and played golf, and she was hooked. And that's what really started the trajectory of me actually not just going out to play golf, but actually playing golf. And so we've been married close to 30 years now. And at one point in my life, I still had the competitive drive, and I knew I couldn't play football anymore, knew I couldn't play rugby anymore, knew I couldn't do the things, that we as athletes used to do. And so golf was it. So I started playing tournament golf, and that's where I really got hooked and started getting better, started becoming obsessed, like I'm sure you and most of your listeners are. And that's kind of how I ended up here.
Okay, well, talk to us a little bit about the Golf Week Amateur Tour. What just for people that don't know a whole lot about it or may have never heard about it, what is it?
So, the 1,000-foot view is we run competitive individual stroke play golf tournaments that are flighted. So we have 5 different flights. We're in 47 different markets across the country. I know you're in Columbia. I'm the tour director for Atlanta. I have been tour directors for a number of different tours around the country. But if you just look at like the southern state of golf, like what we're talking about, in South Carolina, there's Columbia, there's Charleston, there's Hilton Head, all have tours. North Carolina, we've got Eastern North Carolina, Central Carolina, Charlotte. Georgia has Atlanta and Augusta. Florida has 7 tours. Alabama has a tour. Tennessee has a tour. But again, so we're in 47 different markets across the country, and each of those markets run 10 to 12 tournaments a year. We have regional tournaments all over the country, and then our national championship. And I know people are going to hate this, but you have to come to Hilton Head in October for a 54-hole national championship.
That sounds rough.
It's horrible. Oh my God, it's so bad. The weather, it's 70 to 80 degrees. But it's John. I joke, but it's so much fun. But it's golf, right? That's why we get into this. It's for the friendships. It's the camaraderie. It's the relationships. It's the competition. It's all those things wrapped up into one.
Well, I think you've got something for all levels of golfers.
Oh yeah.
Because you probably even somebody like me who may be a 30.1 handicap, talk to us about that, especially for us guys that aren't real good.
Yeah, so we have 5 different flights, and when I say we have a place for everybody, that means we have a place for everybody. It's male, female, young, doesn't really matter. So our 5 flights are 0 to 3.9. Those are the guys that are okay. They're pretty good. And let me just stop there. So some of our champ flight guys, these guys, I joke, but they're good. I mean, so we've had some that have qualified for U.S. Senior AMs, U.S. Senior Opens, a lot of the USGA events. And so these guys are, all kidding aside, they're good. Then we have the 4 to 8.9. Those are A flights. B is 9 to 13.9. And now after that, that's when you start getting into you and me. golf, John. So 14 to 18.9 and then 19 and above. So 5 different flights, got a spot for everybody.
Just how competitive is that last flight, the 19.25? They're really competitive with it? Because, I mean, I know every time I take the course, I don't compete with anybody but myself. Now, granted, anytime I take a shot, I want to hit a shot better than anyone else has hit, but I'm not trying to beat anybody but myself and my own score.
You want to win, right?
Absolutely, I want to win. Absolutely. But I'm not crazy to think I don't have any confidence that I'm going to win. But for me, I just think competition is fun.
Yeah, and that's what it is. So the D flight, and that's the 19 and above, is just as competitive. The guys come with the same mindset, the same mentality as the champ flight guys, right? You know, because obviously, you know, let's just say you're 25. There's no way that even with strokes, you can't compete with a champ flight. You just can't do it. Right? It's just not going to happen. And so that's why we have these flights, so that you're grouped amongst the people that are amongst your same ability, and you have that opportunity to truly compete and win. And winners get nice trophies. They get Visa gift cards. You get into skins games, so birdies pay money, and I'll tell you what, this happens on a regular basis. We talk about the D flight; they're the ones that when they win something, they are so happy. I mean, they are so thrilled because it's something that, you know, before coming to the tour, they've never really had that opportunity. But I paid out over, let's just say $800 in a tournament in skin money to a D flight guy who got maybe a birdie or an eagle or something. And when I hand them that check or that trophy, the light in their eyes and how happy they are, it's like giving it to a kid, right?
Yeah.
Your daytime job, you're an athletic director, and you see these kids compete, and when they've accomplished something, the joy and that feeling that they have. You're 50 years old, the same thing.
Absolutely. I mean, I could see the joy. I see it on student athletes on just doing something, you know, even if it's one time, remarkable. Heck, I see the joy in my own face if I can get a par on any hole. Like, I mean, just if someone were to hand me a plaque or a trophy or even, wow. I mean, one of my greatest thrills and joys when it was a couple weeks ago playing. I on a par 3, I hit it within 6 feet of the cup, and someone on the next tee told me, "Good job, good shot." That's something I'll remember because that doesn't happen very often. So, to talk to us about what makes for a good weekend for you at an event. What does a good weekend look like for you?
Oh man, tournament day is the best day of the week for me, and I tell my guys that all the time. For me, it's showing up to the course, seeing the guys and girls, everybody having a good time. And the kicker for me, again, comes back to calling guys' names out for winning trophies or winning money, or because I try and make it a big deal, a big event. So it's not just, okay, here's your trophy, you know, here's your gift card, we'll see you next week. So, you know, I like having this in the bar food area and announcing it so that everybody else that's at the course, they can see that this is so much fun and see it on the guy's face. And when it's time to go home, it's patting everybody on the back. See you next time. See you next week. Or the friendships, watching the friendships that have been built and say, oh, we're getting together on Wednesday and playing, right? And seeing that we've made connections with other people that we wouldn't normally meet.
What are the challenges you face on an event?
So, and you know this, and this is kind of a new phenomena. After COVID, the prices have gone up so high, and it's that to me has been the biggest challenge. Is number one, securing courses, high quality courses at reasonable prices. That's number one, and in all honesty, slow play. But slow play, it doesn't just affect the tour. It's across even recreational play. You know, when I was playing a lot, I don't play nearly as much as I used to, but I had a regular group of guys, and we all walked, and we would finish in right around 4 hours, right? And this isn't that long ago, so this is like right before COVID, and now it's 5 hours, 5.5 hours. But that's with the tour, that's with recreational golf, and honestly, I don't know what the solution is if the PGA Tour can't get it under control, right? And those are the people that recreational golfers are trying to emulate. How is it that courses are going to get it under control? Because, again, think about it like this from a course perspective. Guys are paying $100 to play, providing them with customer service. Don't rush me. But then I've got these other 150 other players behind you. We got to be respectful of them too. So there's a balancing act there. And I honestly, I don't know what the solution is, John.
Do you have to yourself get on the course and tell people to hurry up, or do you have someone else to do that? Okay.
I do that. I do.
I mean, I certainly understand that, and I don't ever have a problem with someone. I do think you have to have the right skill set as a person to talk to golfers, and because some people can get bent out of shape really quickly for the things you're just saying. But I know that the people behind are all upset; they're waiting. I don't mind waiting a little bit, but there are times when I certainly understand that it does get frustrating. Do you have a favorite event that you do every year? Is it the one the culmination in Hilton Head, or is there one that you always look forward to more than the others?
Well, obviously Hilton Head is one, and there's many reasons for that. Just because that's where everybody comes, and so I've been with Golf Week for almost 20 years now, and I've been a tour director in a number of different markets, so I know people all over the place. Plus, with doing the podcast for that, that's the one time that I really get to see everybody. But locally, I mean, any tournament there is because it's the guys. But from a national perspective, like this year, in a couple weeks, I'm going to Firestone.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going, and I'm broadcasting live from Firestone. How many people can say they've done that? I'll be going out to TPC Scottsdale in Labor Day weekend. There's all kinds of places, but I think locally, which ones? Man, John, there's so many.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know if I say one, everybody is going to say, Tim, you didn't talk about mine.
Well, you can throw me under, but I said, do you always make it a point to play the course when you go, or is that as a director, sometimes you just, you maybe don't get as much time to play as you used to?
So me as a director, I have very little time to play, but I'm not like most directors anymore. Most directors still play, and I encourage them to play, and the national office encourages them to play, because that's one of the reasons why we got into this. I don't play for other reasons, not because I don't want to. It's just it's called life. We got other things we got to do. But I encourage everybody to play, because that's why we do this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things I've really liked in my role as an athletic director, and I don't have a whole lot of extra free time, but there are times when there is time available to play golf because of the nature of the job, and there's people around, and I think that's one of the things that's kind of really driven me, to it. I'm going to throw out a couple of states, just popcorn states, and I want you to tell me maybe what's a course or something about golf that what's the first thing that comes to your mind? It doesn't have to be favorite; it's just something that pops in. So let's start with an easy one. Georgia. What comes to mind when you think of that? Think of that state.
So there's a couple courses that I truly, truly love. Curry is beautiful, 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 beautiful. I love Sky Valley. I love Bears Best in Atlanta. I would say that those, to me, are the ones that really pop out.
Bears Best, that's the one, is that in Swanee, near Swanee? Yep, I've actually played that one a long time ago. I enjoyed that one very much. All right, Florida. What comes to mind with Florida?
Florida is really interesting. We've got, the name of it now, I just lost it. Don't leave me now. The Wanamaker and Die course. Wanamaker and Die course. At the PGA complex down there. I'm actually heading there in a couple weeks, and that's why I can't. I mean, it's been in my brain. I've been thinking about it. You know how it is, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, North Carolina. What comes up with that?
Oh, Pinehurst. Now I've never played there, but obviously that's the that.
Yep. All right, now here's a question: do you consider Texas part of the South? Okay, Southeastern Conference.
Yes, well.
You got any favorite places out in Texas?
We'll just say, and I'm going to give my partner a shout out. We'll just say El Paso. That's where my podcast partner's from. I've never played out there, but the El Paso area, they're rabid out there about their golf. I mean, when we have them as guests and those types of things. But yeah, El Paso has some rabid golf fans.
Okay. All right. Now the home area, South Carolina. What comes to mind there? Because I think there's a lot to choose from.
But there's a lot to choose from. Orangeburg Country Club is somewhat local. It's phenomenal.
You're the second person that's told me that recently.
Yeah.
That surprised me a little bit.
Carolina Country Club. That's that side of the state. And then you come over here to the Hilton Head. Obviously, all the courses in Sea Pines. There's the three of those courses in Sea Pines are phenomenal. And one of my favorites is on the island is the Jones course, Palmetto Dunes. I love that course. That's probably it.
Those are a lot of good ones. What's your take, Tim, on public courses, resort courses versus private courses? Do you have a different, I know some people say, some of the best courses are too restrictive to get on, or does that come up much, or how do you feel on that?
I may be the anomaly on this. I really don't care where I play if I'm playing with people I want to play with. It doesn't matter to me one bit. I mean, if I'm with the guys and we're hanging out, it's more about the company than it is the golf. If I'm playing with my wife, really it's the same thing. It's more about the company than the course. Now that being said, if we're choosing, if we're going on a trip or something, then I may choose some of the bucket list courses, or I want to play here or play there for that reason. But ultimately, it's more about the company for me.
Well, what's the next stop on the Golf Amateur Tour week?
Well, so for the Atlanta Tour, our first one is coming up March 22nd, and that's at Bridge Mill Country. Bridge Mill Golf Course. That's in just outside of Atlanta. We're hitting this time of year where all across the country tournaments are going on. We've already had some. So a couple weeks ago, we had a senior tournament in Sea Pines. This last week, we had a tournament in Myrtle Beach, a regional tournament coming up. The first, in a little over a week, we've got a tournament at Kings Mill Resort, a regional tournament at Kings Mill Resort in Virginia. But I'm really looking forward to the when I go down to Florida here in a couple weeks.
That sounds like a good time. Well, tell people that may be interested in the tour how they could connect with you, how they can find out more information about what you do, and all that fun stuff.
The best place to find information is on the website, and that's amateurgolftour.net. And a lot of people have trouble spelling amateur. It's AMATEUR, golftour.net, amateurgolftour.net.
Yeah, thank you for spelling that out, because I would be one of those guys that would struggle with it. I'm a spell check guy, and yeah, amateur, if they probably were to see my Google search history, amateur would probably be one of them with some other words, and I've spelled it wrong so many times initially.
Well, it's a good thing that, when you type in web addresses into your web browser, that it remembers, because I've been with these guys for, like I said, for over 15 years, and I still spell it wrong, like when I'm just typing it in sometimes, so don't worry about it.
All right, I've got two little segments that I like to kind of end with. One of them is a top 10, where we just do a random top 10 where I kind of throw out my top 10 items I'll let people shoot down, comment on, and then we'll end with one. But my top 10 this week is top 10 what I call golf food items or beverage items. And these aren't specific things. This isn't like what the hamburger dog at the Olympic Club that people talk about. This is just
right.
Very general. And I'll start off with number 10. One of the things I always do when I go to a golf course or somewhere, I always and this is generic, but I guess it's my podcast, so I'll be generic about it. What is the house specialty? I love to see what is something different that every golf course, does. Like a couple weeks ago, I went to Caledonia Fish Club right there next to True Blue. And of course, I asked about, I think, the crab or clam chowder that they have, but they weren't serving it. But it's those type of things. Number 9 for me is a protein bar. I like protein bars on the course. It kind of, now it's probably more, this may be me being a guy that's in his last year of his 40s that needs more protein going around the course than something fun. I probably wouldn't have made that answer a couple of years ago.
John, I understand and resemble that remark, so you're fine with me on it.
Number 8 is one I don't actually get unless it is on the golf course, and it's a hot dog.
Okay, yeah. I
don't go to random places and buy hot dogs, but I will go out to get one. As a matter of fact, one of the favorite items I had at Tobacco Road was the pimento cheese dog that they had that I really, really liked there.
Well, let me stop you there with hot dogs, because I'm kind of like you. I'm not just out buying hot dogs, right?
Yeah.
But there are a couple places that have actual hot dog. That's their specialty, right? There's a couple places in Pennsylvania. This is where I lived before I moved down here. But if you go out to Austin, Texas, in downtown Austin, they've got 4 or 5 places that their specialties are hot dogs. And honestly, that would be a place where I would go and buy hot dogs.
Well, and to me,
outside of golf courses, I'm with you. I don't buy hot dogs.
Well, not anymore. I did back in my day. I certainly did too much. And number 7 is a generic one. And once again, it's another generic one. It's what I call the 3-round gas station snack. It's like right before I go to the course, I'm just going to buy. No, I don't buy a hot dog. It might be a donut, which I don't typically buy donuts. It could be anything. I like to find a random gas station that's got something a little bit different, cooked different from everybody else. Number 6 is a hamburger. I like a good hamburger. I'll eat that while I'm playing. I'm not graceful in it by any means, but are you a hamburger guy? You like to have a hamburger?
Hamburger, throw some bacon on there, cheese, ketchup, and mustard. That's all it needs.
%. Now, number 5, this one actually probably might depend on my day and what's going around, but it's the post-round beverage. Once you're done, it's probably if you're, with the company where you just sit down. It's actually, whatever, depending on the day, the temperature, what's going on. I mean, whether you want to have some adult beverage or even just a Gatorade, just hanging out with people, that's one I always really, really look forward to. Number 4 on my list, and this one makes me certainly feel like this time next year I'll be talking about being in my 50s, is a Powerade, Gatorade, or any type of electrolytes while I'm playing. I mean, I found if I don't stay hydrated, especially here in the South, when it gets a little warmer, that can be trouble.
Absolutely.
All right, number 3 in my list, pimento cheese. I do too. I do too. If it's at a golf course and they're serving it, I'm generally going to get it. Tobacco Road had a great pimento cheese hot dog, great pimento cheese regular sandwich. I love it. Any other place, I love it. I love it when I see that a golf course is like brought them in fresh from somebody that just made them around town. Those are great. Now, number 2, this one I know this might be controversial for some people, but coffee. I love coffee. Matter of fact, I've got my little Circle K. There's a little plug for Circle K coffee. I like the coffee, whether it's before the round. I'll have it right before the golf course. Although I will say, golf courses need to step up their game when it comes to golf coffee. There are not many places that serve a bunch of good coffee.
Right.
That's just something. Now, my last one, my number 1 food item, and it's not, once again, it's not even an item, it's more the event. I love a good breakfast before the rounds. At the hotel, at the pro shop or the resort that you're at, where, you can eat your sausage, maybe a biscuit, all the things that I can't justify eating on a normal day, but I'm going to justify it because I'm doing something special.
Exactly.
What are some of your favorite food? Do you have any favorite food items or rituals you have when you eat?
You mentioned a lot of them, like hot dogs, bratwurst, French fries. I don't like French fries on the course, but I like French fries when I'm done. Mm-hmm. Depending on where we're at, it could be some chicken wings. It could be, and I know this is going to be an age thing, but a good chicken Caesar salad when I'm done. Something cool with some not fried chicken, but grilled chicken strips. I love that. When you talk about the after round beverage, and I'm a little weird here, so I'll order either a sweet tea or a Diet Coke and a beer, and I'll fire back to sweet tea or Diet Coke to get some fluid in me, and then we'll hang out with a beer or two. But I've got to have something else before I start putting beer in my system, because otherwise that's not a good idea. But hot dogs, burgers, bratwurst, those are generally my go-tos, and I'll have a good donut before I go off in the morning. I like good breakfast, but for me, like right before we hopped on, I had 2 Boston cream donuts, which I know I shouldn't have them. I know that. Don't give me a hard time out there, because but that's what I do. I mean, at some point in life, you got to have your vices and be done with it. Wait, let me ask you a question.
Yep.
What's your favorite golf course restaurant? Where's the best place you've ever eaten?
Ooh, the best place I've ever eaten. Well, you're asking because to me, that can get skewed with, I think it can get skewed with how well you played and the people that you're with. I will tell you that I didn't spend a ton of time there, but Caledonia's little restaurant that overlooks the 18th hole there, that setting is really, outstanding. The Die Course in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
They've got they got a really good restaurant. Over the summer, I had an outstanding lunch after I got done. So that one's really good. Do you have a favorite one you like? And I'll try to think of
I do, and it's really kind of diametrically opposed. So I'm not a big fan of the course, but the restaurant is phenomenal, and that's at Oyster Reef right here on the island. It's talk about it's almost 5-star quality. I mean, in terms, the soups are phenomenal, the salads are great, the entrees, oh my gosh. During national championship, I love it when I'm assigned to that course because I know I'm going to eat really good. But it's phenomenal.
I love when I see things on social media that just talk. I saw that the Golfers Journal had a big event over at the Tree Farm, and some of that food that they had there just looks really good. That's one of my things that I think golf courses would do themselves a big service by making those experiences at the restaurants really big. I think it's an underrated experience for them.
Yeah, but John, there's a bigger issue there too. The golf side of the house doesn't talk to the hospitality side of the house very well. I think if they would do a better job, and this is across the board, if they would do a better job coordinating things, their revenues would truly go through the roof. But there's not a lot of communication at times.
No, I've seen that. I could definitely see how, but to me, that's such a big part of the experience, or can be. I know that if a place has got a good reputation, I'm going to make sure I allocate time to spend time in their restaurant. And if they don't, then I certainly won't. All right. One of the things I always like to end our guest with is ask them a question. Who is in your fantasy foursome of golfers? And what I mean by these are fictional characters that may be on TV, books, whatever. These people don't exist in real life. Who would you want to spend an afternoon, morning playing around the golf with?
Okay, so I'm kind of scared to share this because it kind of gives people an insight into what's going on up here. All right, so here we go. You ready?
I'm ready. I'm like, if we go blank, that's because I'm getting scared.
Happy Gilmore, Roy McIlroy, Tin Cup, Ricky Bobby, and either Ty Webb or Al Cervic.
Those are, I like all those. That doesn't.
So we're on the same wavelength then.
Yeah, we're on the same. You didn't say anything like Hannibal Lecter, anything like that. I mean, we did have somebody mention Bryan Cranston from Breaking Bad. I actually really like that one. I will say, no, I love it. I think Happy Gilmore. That would be a lot of fun to play with guys like that.
It would be. Yeah, I don't know if you saw. You've been watching any of the Full Swing.
Very little of it.
So I saw that the other day, and I can't imagine being those pro golfers and on that set and doing that little bit, that getting ready for Happy Gilmore 2. That must have been probably the best day in the history of the world for fun.
It would be amazing just to see professionals perform comedy. I mean, I don't see that half these things, how they keep a straight face, how they can continue to do it. Because I know I could never do it. Well, Tim, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for reaching out. It was a blast to get to know you, talk to you a little bit. I mean, I'm excited to follow the Golf Week Amateur Tour. Maybe one of these days I can make someone's day and come out there, and where they wouldn't finish last, I would be the one that would finish last in the D flight. So, Tim, do you got anything else you'd like to share with John, the podcast?
Number one, I appreciate you. You let me come on and share with your community. I think it's great. And if you want to come out, let me know, and I'll get you hooked up with the Columbia Tour Director, or whichever area you want to go. I'll get you hooked up with that tour director and get you taken care of, because once you come out and try it once, I 100% guarantee you'll be hooked.
Wow, that sounds like a good selling point right there. Tim, thank you for all that you do for golf, and thank you for coming on today.